Welcome to my channel. My name is Loki and I'm glad to see you here with me today. Today is going to be a different video. I am still working on the Monster Hunter story, but this is a quick glimpse on Chapter 1 and part of Chapter 2. Hope you enjoy. And before I start the story, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you do feel so much obliged. And I will be leaving a link to whatever. Oh, yeah. Ocean's original video that helped me start this journey. And thank you for watching. And I will not have any gameplay in this channel or on this video. It will be mainly little stuff here and there. So, thank you and have fun.
What defines a true monster hunter? Every new recruit who joins the guild is asked this question. Yet, the answer isn't something that can be given. It must be discovered. A hunter only truly becomes a monster hunter when they find their own answer. Even among the most seasoned hunters, some may never reach that realization. Some come close. But those who achieve master rank, those who have faced and conquered an elder dragon, know the answer without hesitation. By then, they are no longer just hunters. They are legends. If you choose to join the Hunters Guild, this question will be asked of you as well. Chapter 1. Valhabar is a remote city, largely isolated from the rest of the world. Hunters pass through from time to rest, resupply, and enjoy a hot meal, but most of the city's residents have never seen a monster, let alone fought one. The stories told by wandering hunters and local storytellers are often dismissed as tall tales filled with exaggerations and bravado. Snow was the daughter of a modest bookseller. Her family held no wealth, titles, or influential ties, leaving them particularly vulnerable when a redevelopment project forced them out of both their home and livelihood. With no alternatives left, Snow's father made a difficult decision: to leave Valhabar behind and seek a new beginning in Dundorma, a settlement far to the west. They joined a small caravan bound for the city, but securing passage drained nearly all of their savings. Packing what little remained of their belongings into a single wagon, they gathered enough supplies to see them through the long, uncertain journey. That journey would change Snow's life forever. Several days into their travels, the hunters escorting the caravan warned the group to remain alert. At first, the road stayed quiet, lulling the travelers into a fragile sense of security. Then, without warning, disaster struck. A monstrous attack shattered the calm, plunging the caravan into chaos. Snow could recall only fragments, screams, flashing steel, the scent of blood. When she finally awoke, she found herself in an outpost near Dundorma, her body wrapped in bandages. She was one of the few who survived. The day she regained consciousness, the hunters delivered the devastating news. Her anguished cries echoed through the resting area, filled with grief and loss. But once her wounds healed, she pressed on, continuing the journey to Dundorma alone, carrying only what the hunters had managed to salvage. By the time she reached the Hunters Guild headquarters, word of the attack had already spread. As Snow stepped inside, the guild receptionist, a woman in her late 20s or early 30s, dressed in the guild's standard uniform, looked up from her paperwork. For a brief moment, she simply stared. The girl who had survived an encounter with an unknown monster now stood before her. "Hello, Miss Snow," the receptionist greeted softly, offering a sympathetic smile. "Are you here to post a quest to search for your missing family? The guild doesn't typically handle missing persons cases, but I can spread word among the hunters." Snow shook her head. "Number, I don't want that. I want to become a hunter. I'll find my family myself. Is there a form I need to fill out?" The receptionist held her gaze. She didn't see bitterness or rage, but a steady, determined resolve, a need to understand what had happened that day. With a quiet sigh, she nodded. "Miss Snow, before anything else, you'll need to learn the basics. How to wield a weapon, how to survive. Give me a few days. I'll arrange a trainer and a veteran hunter to guide you." 4 days later, Snow returned to the guild hall. The receptionist greeted her once again, this time with a small nod. "Ah, Miss Snow, welcome back. We've secured a trainer for you, along with a selection of weapons suited to your style. You'll also be paired with a palico to accompany you." In the days that followed, Snow trained relentlessly. She learned to identify essential herbs, both medicinal and antibiotic, and to recognize the various types of mushrooms used in crafting potions. Her skill with a sword and shield stood out immediately, though her strength and precision with a hammer soon proved just as impressive. Once licensed as a hunter, Snow wasted no time accepting quests. Her early records consisted largely of solo expeditions into the vast deserts between Dundorma and Valhabar, tirelessly searching for any trace of her missing family. Despite her efforts, she found nothing of personal significance. However, she did manage to chart ancient ruins buried beneath the ever-shifting sands, gradually building a reputation for her keen eye and meticulous record-keeping. Whenever her funds began to dwindle, Snow took on jobs that allowed her to continue exploring new corners of the world. The teams she joined often welcomed her sharp instincts, and she gained invaluable knowledge from her companions, learning to identify and hunt monsters she had never faced before. Her reputation grew steadily, bolstered by the long, grueling expeditions that often took months to complete. She traveled light, accompanied only by her two loyal palicos, Pepper and Salt. By the time Snow reached high rank, her assignments took her far beyond the familiar deserts, sending her across the known world. Thanks to her survival skills, keen navigation, and relentless drive, she was entrusted with an important mission, escorting a group of researchers to a remote southeastern village known as Kamura. There, troubling reports spoke of a mysterious phenomenon called the Rampage. Snow's task was clear: protect the researchers, uncover the truth behind the rampage, and if possible, put an end to it. Chapter 2. As the airship touched down near the small village, Snow took in her surroundings. Kamura was noticeably smaller than other villages she had visited in similar regions. What stood out even more was its leadership, Unlike most villages, where Wyverians traditionally served as elders, Kimura's leader was human. The surprise, however, faded quickly as the elder approached and addressed the head researcher. "So, you're the ones the guild sent to assist us," he said, his tone both firm and kind. "I'll take you to your quarters. Get some rest tonight. We begin work tomorrow." Without further delay, he led them to a row of newly built houses, their temporary home for the mission. Once snow had settled in, the head researcher, a wise, elderly Wyverian whom everyone simply called Doc, approached her. "Miss Snow, I need you to stay in town until after the meeting with the elder," he said. "I'd like you to sit in. The elder was once a hunter, and I tend to get sidetracked when explaining things. You can help keep the conversation on track and translate where needed." Snow let out a sigh, considering the request. This wasn't the first time she and Doc had worked together. Their first encounter had been when she guided his team to an ancient town she had discovered, and since then, she had grown accustomed to his requests. "I guess so," she replied with a shrug. "I need to get a map of the area anyway and learn about the local monsters." With a smirk, she gave Doc a thumbs up. "I'll sit in." The next morning, two Wyverian girls in distinctive attire arrived at the research team's door. Without much fanfare, Snow and Doc were led to a meeting space nestled within the Guildhall's gathering area. There, they were greeted by Elder Fugan and the local guildmaster, a remarkably short Wyverian, no taller than a baby Tetsukabra. After the usual pleasantries were exchanged, Doc leaned forward slightly and spoke with a measured tone. "So, Elder Fugan, Guildmaster Hojo, could you explain this event you refer to as a rampage?"
Thank you for watching the video, and like always, again, please tell me what I missed or messed up on the story. I didn't have any clips for the story, so I couldn't really help you with that. However, if you have any critiques or anything to add to the story, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you can, please hit that noti bell, set it to all, because I don't know when I'm going to post next. Writing this story is very hard for me. And it takes all the focus that I have. Other than that, thank you again for watching to this point, and goodbye, farewell, and F8 as I told you.